Things that are going into like Kesa Gatami, reverse Kesa, doing a bunch of different stuff, baseball slide. Actually, if you want, just take a second. What we just did last night was we did a quick little set of just kind of showing how everything actually goes together. So if I just go like almost like a referee's position in wrestling. So right now my hands are four corners. So sit out drills going into Kesa and reverse Kesa. My right knee replaces my left. My hip sits down where my knee would have been, and then we collapse down. So this is basically what Kesa and or reverse Kesa. Then when I go back, I'm into my four corners. I switch. My hip replaces where my knee used to be. When I fall, my hand basically goes to that dot, and my elbow basically goes to that dot. So if I created the four corners, okay, by the time I'm done, I'm still controlling all four corners. I'm just doing it with slightly different body parts. So right knee replaces left, right hip replaces my knee, my hand replaces that one. That's essentially my position. And then I go back. When we do a sit-out drill, from here, right foot replaces left hand. So I'm going to open, okay? My knee replaces my left hand. My butt replaces my left knee. My hand is still basically in that front quadrant, and my elbow now replaces. So I still have essentially my 4 points. Okay? And then when I go back. So let's just kind of hit that just real quick as a general warm-up. It's something that we might have to look at getting some little dots. Okay. So in each one, this goes into our concept of pin and replace, pin and replace. So right now, I'm controlling, okay? Slide one knee to the other to replace, and then my hip replaces, okay? But right now, my body's all twisted. So when this hand comes up, I'm using that to basically replace. So right now, if you look at point, 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 there's my 4. Okay, then I come back. Okay, because we can do that side to side, or same thing. I slide forward. That knee's on the dot. My right hip's on the dot. My hand's on the dot. My elbow's on the dot. Again, I'm still looking at the same 4 points. And then we can go back. This is something we were talking about adding into our fundamentals for our motion. Into each other. I'm not really necessarily leaning heavy on my elbow. My hand is here or my hand is here. Okay, either the floor. I've been liking the floor a lot more than grabbing onto him lately. This hand for me becomes the one that goes here, and this hand for me, I've been kind of liking having it into the floor as my pressure. And then my left knee is over here. Okay, essentially it's right off of my own left elbow. So what we used to call this was ugly frog. You know, just a big smash position. When frogs sit on the lily pad, their butt's not up in the air, butt's down. Okay. Now I'm going to do our sit out to go into Kesa. So my right knee is going to slide to my left, and it's just going to follow his rib cage. Okay. Now my hand goes to his elbow, and through here I'm picking it up, and then as I sit, I'm clamping with my armpit on his wrist. Now, if I don't pick up my elbow and I don't pick up his arm, okay, then what's going to happen is I'm going to go like this. Okay, now pull your hand out. So that means now I'm relying on my hand to hold his arm in place. That is not the concept we're looking for. The concept is to transfer ownership. That's pin and replace, pin and replace. Right now, I own his elbow, but I need to replace this so my hand can move on and do other things. So when I lift my armpit and pull his wrist up, now when I collapse my armpit down, pull your hand out. Okay. Now my hand's free to do other things. Otherwise, it's stuck. Okay. I've built my own prison. I'm stuck holding on to him. So as long as he's trying to get out, I can't move my hand. Okay? So realistically speaking, who becomes stuck? Okay? It's like the tail of the person that grabs the tiger by the tail. He can't let go now. Because as soon as he lets go, the tiger's going to turn. So now who's stuck? Okay? So I'm in my position, holding onto that shoulder, elbows down, and pinning his arm in here, preferably in my armpit. Okay? So now, again, here's my hand. This foot, bring it over, put it into your own hand. Again, I know where my fingers are. I don't have to look for them. And I don't even need to aim for his head. I'm just aiming to replace my fingers. Now for myself though, I will remove my hand from his elbow, otherwise Gage won't make it. He'll tap out before I ever get there, okay? So I have to let go. So when I bring my leg up to go over his head, right here, my thigh is already pushing into his elbow, okay, and into my hand. So when I go here, okay, he's tapping before I can even hit my anchor, okay? For some of you, you can probably do it. It's not gonna be that big of a deal, okay? For me, I have to let go, like I said, otherwise I'll never be able to anchor my foot on the other side. So as I swing my foot up, we also did last week, gunslinger, okay? So as I'm here and I go to bring my leg up, I go gunslinger, okay? Now my foot goes into the side of his neck. His wrist is still caught in that armpit. So now through here, push your hips forward and pull your shoulder back. There's the break. Okay? But it's all being controlled right here. Pin, push. I can feel his thigh right now at my shoulder. So when you lean, don't lean between his legs. He'll throw that foot up and over your head and you're gonna get caught, okay? I'm pushing like I'm trying to push his leg out of the way. I step, okay? Don't lean, push your hips in, okay? It's like I'm pulling with my heel. And then from here, I'm pulling my elbow and my shoulder backwards while I push into my hip. If for some reason it pops, okay, doesn't matter. I'm still gonna hold on, still gonna grab onto that wrist. It'll be a little harder, but it's still a good arm bar from here. But if I can, I'll put it back. If trying to grab a hold of the arm is going to become the issue, if trying to put it back in your armpit is going to become the issue, don't. Okay? You're letting go of grips to try to get to what you think is a better position, but if you have to give up what you've got to try to get there, it may not be worth it. Okay? So, we're in, slide one knee to the other, cup the arm, hold. Okay? Through here, I'm going to into his leg. For me, I go gunslinger. Some of you can grip here, but again, for me, I'll make it. So for the sake of my partner, I go gunslinger, okay? So through here, my hand literally just wraps around my own leg. This also helps me bring my foot and then roll the shoulder back and push the hips forward. All right, let's get a shot. 1, 2, 3. Hold on it. So now, why am I letting go? Okay, there's only 2 reasons. 1, I have a better job to do. Or 2, it's about to get me in trouble. That's it. If there's nothing better for it to do, and it's not getting me in trouble, don't let go. Leave it exactly where it is until either it gets you in trouble, or you've got something better to do. That's it. Otherwise, man, it's crazy to me. I watch people all the time. They're in position, they're already holding on to something, and as soon as they move, they let go. Why'd you let go? I don't know. Okay, well, I mean, you already owned it. You already had to get a hold of it. Did it get you in trouble? No. Then why let go? It's already yours. All right, so now, same motion. Okay, now this is where sometimes defenses can become predictable. Okay, and it's the predictability that you count on. Because this is what then formulates plan B, plan C. There's no sense in building plan B off of what you like to do. if your opponent's reactions don't feed it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I love to do, but when I put plan A in motion, plan A gets defended certain ways, and that opens up what should be plan B. Plan B is not always based on your desires, it's based on what is the real reaction. If I roll with 10 people and 9 of them respond the same way, then that should be the foundation of your plan B. 90% of the time, this is how they defend. Okay? Don't build your defense around 10%. Build it around the 90%, and then we'll deal with the 10% as a special thing. So again, I'm in, control, 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 slide, lift, pin. Okay? Get it in play. It can happen a couple different ways. When I'm here and I go to bring my foot over, okay, I need that foot to make a connection and anchor to the side of his neck in order to be able to get my arm bar. So guess what one of the major defenses is to all arm bars? Do you know what it is?
Elbow blow.
Okay. If I can't get rid of the elbow, don't let the leg connect. So as soon as I go to step over, if I can't step over, I can't put the final pressures in play. This is the reason why I like my hand to be able to move independent. I know it's my armpit that's holding him in place. So when I step here, I feel very comfortable to let my hand now go to his wrist. So now this becomes the foundation of my Americana. Or like in the instance when you did a hammer fist towards Shonda, what happens to the other hand? So now we have options on the table. You got to pick and choose what you want to do. Just because an option's there doesn't mean you got to take it. Again, you got to look at the hierarchy of things. Is what you're doing, do you think you have a better chance with it than the other option? If the answer is yes, stay with it. Don't let go. If you think you're losing what you've got, go to option B. Okay? But again, get used to where that option is going to exist. So I'm in, slide, control. As I go to step over, this is a very plausible, okay? There's his wrist. As we make contact, and now as I shift my hips, that allows me to push him down, okay? Now through here, on my Americana, I want his wrist all the way to the ground, okay? I don't care much about his hand. I want that wrist. This hand, when it comes over the top, grab my own wrist anymore. What I do is I karate chop into my own thumb, or I back fist into my own thumb. So when I go here, if I grab my own wrist, man, look, I'm mashing him down. He's not tapping. Okay, now watch what happens. When I put my pressure here, okay, when I put my pressure here, he just tapped. The moment my hand goes here, my pressure just got lighter. So when I go in, I put my hand like I'm karate chopping, and I will just grip my own hand. He's already tapping. This is already super tight. Okay? Now from here, because of this new grip, I can pull. That's good. I push. You can tell, just in his reactions. Okay? Now, if I don't use the new grip, do not push. Okay? If I only have the old grip, pull. Okay? Sometimes the other one is faster because I have a lot more surface area to latch on. But once you get used to it, I slip in. And basically it's like I hammer the hand down. And then I leave my pinky exactly where it is. And just grab my own hand. You'll feel it. Your wrist will go heavy into their arm. A lot of tension. A lot of pressure. All right, pick your finger. Who you want?
That's rough. No.
Yeah, this is my new. So again, I want under that arm. When I slide, my knee goes up the ribs. That is to expose the arm. As we go, here's his elbow. Pull so that my armpit gets a good bite. Pull your arm up. Okay. better with the arm elbow, but now not necessary. So now through here, when I go to make my step, my hand, short throw. This hand's already in play. So now when I switch, okay, as this one goes down, I slide this one over the top. Okay, here, feel the pressure. Ah, look, what's he doing? So that means now I have to do the old pull and lift. Okay, but when I go here, it's a different animal. So watch, even from here. Okay, now watch from here. Traditional, it's a whole lot of nothing. Okay, if I come in here, put it down, heavy pressure, then I make my extension, or we can pull. All right, let's give it a shot. One, two. Again, that arm, okay, that is a very typical thing. Okay, again, we base our responses based on what is the average player going to do. If I do this against 9 different people, what's the response going to be? 9 times out of 10, the moment they sit out, they're going to go collect that arm. That's what they're shooting for. Okay? So in the position, that arm is what's going to keep you from being able to turn into them. Okay? It's not the head, things of that nature, it's that arm. If I keep that elbow, he can't turn his elbow to the ground, making it really hard for him to turn into me. So when I make that sit out, usually speaking, he's going to be trying to also see if he can keep that arm from becoming something that I'm going to be able to get. So when I'm here and I make my sit, my knee goes up under the armpit. This rarely misses. If it misses, it's because something is wrong. Okay? Now, as I go to collect, this is when he's going to start trying to give me some resistance. Okay? So what I'm going to do through here is as I slide in, I'm going to push my leg forward, push his arm, and hook. Now I can bring it back. And now this is like an open triangle on the legs. See how my knees are kind of pinched, one over the other? Okay. Could I actually go into a triangle? Yeah, 100%. Not necessary though. Okay. I just stay here like in this little scissor position. Okay. Now I have a hand free. He too has a hand free. So if I start coming in and trying to play anything, guess what his hand is going to do? So that becomes my grip. Okay. Through here, I'm going to lock him up. This is an incredibly difficult Americana to finish. Not impossible, but it's difficult. Okay. Because most people are going to start trying to push him to the ground. Okay. The reality is, if you want to get the better Americana from here, we transition into our side control. Again, push that hand to the ground and go after our lock. Okay. Now, I do like to try to finish it from there, personally. So when I lock it up, I try as much as possible to not have to switch my position. Because again, why am I leaving this position? There's only 2 reasons. Okay, I either think I've got something better to do, getting me in trouble. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure that switching my position to go over here is my better option. I like where I'm at. So when I do get a hold of him and I'm here, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my elbow to me. Okay, notice I'm not even trying to take him to the ground. And then through here, I'm going to crank to put his arm down to the floor. But when I put his arm down to the floor, my elbow continues to pull up into his body. Because if we're here and I just push down, what's happening? A whole lot of nothing. If I pick up his elbow at the same time, it's better. But if I never let him get that far to the ground in the first place, my right elbow pinches in, and then... So what do you think he's going to do to try to escape? Right? So to escape, he's going to try to extend through here. Pressure, pressure, pressure. I'm pulling up. I'm gripping. He doesn't want me to lock up, so then I feed behind my own head. So now through here, my hand is still connected to his elbow. My head is pinching into his wrist. There's a potential armbar right here, okay? There's a potential armbar right here, okay? Right here, this is top type crucifix, controlling his hand, and I'm punching him. What do you think he's gonna do? As soon as I start going into that, whether it's MMA or jiu-jitsu, the moment I start to put pressure around his face, that hand is going to want to come free, and when it does, he's just going to put himself right back into that original Americana, and then again, we just rinse and repeat. We make our choice. Do I think I'm better at the Americana this time? Maybe I go for it. Or I feed it back again, and I continue to throw my shots. And again, if I'm doing a good job through here, okay, it's hard for him to get his hand out. Now again, when I'm in, I want his wrist caught between my neck and my shoulder. It's getting pinched, just like we did the armpit, okay? Don't put his elbow up against your neck, okay? If then my hand over here is not doing a very good job. I need the wrist to be in here so that this one can pull on the elbow. It feels uncomfortable. Okay. If I can put enough pressure, there is an armbar, but guess what he's going to do? It's hard. Compression arm bars are hard to finish. Okay, mainly because I can't control his rotation, but his rotation becomes predictable, and I know he will almost always come back to the Americana. Control, punch, 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 control, feed, punch, 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 control, feed. And then if you start feeling like you like the Americana more, then we can go for the Americana. If not, like I said, I'm more than happy to stay where I am and just continue the cycle of violence. Nice, good shot. 1, 2, 3.